Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio. Happy holidays, everyone. Wow, what a year 2023 has been. We've had so many great moments. It was hard to choose what some of our best moments were, but we think you're going to love what we came up with.
We have to start with the best part of the year, Erin becoming a mother. Here's a portion of that episode a few days after baby Macaroni was born.
I want to start with the moment that you saw him, because I don't think you and I haven't talked about this. We've talked about a lot of it. The moment you saw him.
So the moment we saw him, well, first of all, like if we want to get straight into the delivery, Ryan's going to kill us because he asked us to go in order with the timeline. So he's going to be real pissed off. Let me turn on my comments to see where he is with all this.
We're going to go back. It's our podcast. We'll get there in the specifics in the 9-year journey that you were on. But I just need the reaction when you saw him for the first time.
I think I was like, hi. It was funny because as soon as the nurses took him out, they were like, he's got hair and he's really cute. And we had, it was kind of crazy in the delivery room up until they got him out. We can get into that. So I wasn't even thinking, oh my gosh, does he have hair? Is he cute? I was just like, is this guy okay? What's happening? Hey, another headline, Jets on Hard Knocks. I know a quarterback that's going to love that.
I mean, by the way, welcome to Erin Andrews and motherhood. We're talking about the baby in the birth canal, and she's like, breaking news. Back to you, Kevin and Greg. Jesus, I love you. Okay, go. Back to your baby boy.
Okay, so yeah, I was like, hi. Like, it was just kind of like, they just like throw him in your arms and it's all happening at once and it's wild and it's crazy. And like, I remember even when we were getting ready to take him outside back into our room, we put him in this rolly thing and we're like, are we allowed to take him like out? Like, and they were like, yeah, put him in this little rolly thing, which those are great, by the way. We haven't even talked about that.
Are you talking about a stroller? Yeah. What are you talking about? Rolly
You're not putting a newborn in a stroller. I got a lot to teach you before it's your turn.
You know what we're going to talk about? Oh, I love that you just said that to me. I got a lot to teach you. Okay, so you mean the actual like things that you see in the movies where they put the babies in the little like plastic bed thing and then which by the way, like, are nurseries still a thing? Like you put them in a nursery? Like,
ours didn't go in one. He didn't go into the nursery. He stayed in our room overnight. All right, let's start in order. Where are we in this timeline?
Okay. I just wanted that moment that you like see him, because this has been a 9-year journey, which I know that we sit here and rightfully so and can like make like funny little like quirks and jokes and you can smile because you finally got the baby boy that you've always wanted. And granted, boy, girl, whatever it was, that I just can't imagine how grateful and everything that you feel. But on the other side of that, you know how difficult this has been. So start wherever you want to start. Let's go through, because I know that there's a lot of people that listen to this podcast that are going through similar things or have gone through similar things.
And a lot of our listeners have been so awesome in terms of reaching out DM wise of like books for me to read. When I hadn't divulged that we were actually pregnant and so forth. So, we have been pretty candid on this podcast, which I have appreciated, just about my journey and the struggle. I did 9 years of IVF, was trying really, really hard. And you and I have talked about it ad nauseum about trying to get eggs. I just couldn't produce eggs. Yes. Did my age have a lot to do with it? Sure. But also I was dealing with, cervical cancer. And sometimes, your body just doesn't really do a great job with producing these eggs. And that was me. So, we would get so long in the process and you would just get one egg sometimes. Sometimes you would get 11. Sometimes you would get 2. Well, then you want to mix in your husband's sperm and make embryos and you're waiting. And then you don't have any. And you just feel, I ended up having to do IVF. I did 8 rounds of IVF.
Okay, and as someone who's only done
and
one
don't
round,
you always feel like, Charissa, like every vacation I was on, every event I had to go to, I was shooting up. Like I feel like so many of our vacations were affected by my freaking IVF. This was like my first summer. I didn't have to, we were in Montana. Kelly and Matthew wanted to stay longer. And I was like, I have to go home because I have to go get, an ultrasound. Like everything I was doing for the last 9 years was affected by IVF. And it sucked because there's no like rhyme or reason. There's no right timing. It's like, you don't even know when your right time is going to be. It's awful. It's a crapshoot.
And by that, it's also the phone calls and the different things that you're doing while you're trying to do your job, or even the medical stuff that you had to go through, and wearing, unfortunately, like certain things in your clothing because you had to have an operation, and you're reporting on Packers Cowboys coming up in America's Game of the Week. Like there's so much
that little game.
Yeah, exactly. But that's to me, which is why when you, which we'll get to in a second, like told me that this embryo took, and it's just like, it's so incredible. Okay. So starting at the very beginning, you had how many embryos left? Like how many, like, did you know that you could like try to get pregnant with?
So we didn't have many at all. We had, as my doctor would say, less than a starting lineup. That's one thing I loved about my fertility doctor so much, is that he knew for me, my way to kind of cope with things is sports. And, and so I would be like, all right, what are we looking at follicle wise? And you have enough for a starting lineup. This one could be your point guard. This one could be your starting quarterback, like things like that to tell me the strength of the embryos and all that stuff. So less than a handful, less than a starting lineup, which isn't great. And then we started realizing, when I was diagnosed with cervical cancer, I should have gotten a second opinion. I didn't. I went to the first doctor that told me that she could get this out, and she didn't. And she hacked me open, and I lost more of my cervix than was necessary. But unfortunately, the cancer went past the margin. So I had to have another surgery. And at that point, holding a baby was just not going to happen. Literally we went to, when we were like, okay, am I going to try to get pregnant now after cervical cancer? We went to a lot of, doctors that gave me advice about if I did go into labor while I'm working a Green Bay game, or if I did go into labor while I'm working a Patriots game, I have to stay in New England. I have to stay in Green Bay for the rest of my pregnancy. Like I cannot move. They even talked about like potentially stitching me up so like my cervix could hold it. But unfortunately, we made the decision. There just wasn't enough there to actually, carry a baby, and which was really hard. It was really hard to hear that. But COVID, Easter, we were in our house, and we're normally at our friend's house who has kids, Jackie Quick. We're usually there, and we're usually with everybody who has kids, and we're just here by ourselves. And we're like, this sucks. Like, this just sucks. My husband's great. We love each other, but we're like, what are we doing? So it wasn't really until that Easter.
You knew.
Why are we? Yeah. Like, let's just go through with this. Exactly. Because we were kind of like, well, maybe I will get pregnant. Maybe I won't go into labor. And it was just like, this isn't working. I'm not getting pregnant. They don't want to use the embryos on me because I don't have very many. And I'm older. The stats are up against me. The numbers are up against me. I probably will lose the embryos. So, finally we were like, let's just try. Let's look into surrogacy. Let's see what we can find out. And let's see if it's even for us. So probably 2021, we really looked into it, and we finally found someone. And this is a difficult process. It's mentally exhausting. You literally you go to an agency, they look for candidates, then they send you profiles or resumes of different surrogates, and maybe surrogate of her and her husband. And you kind of read it. You read all about their life, and you feel like you really think that they're a good match. You could say, I'd like to meet them. Then they read my story, and they read Jarrett's story of why we need surrogacy and why we're looking to go this avenue. Then you get on a Zoom because nobody does anything in person anymore because of COVID. And you meet them and you talk to them, and you end up crying, and you end up saying, thank you so much. This would mean the world to me for you to, be able to have my baby. And this is what we've gone through as a family. It's a lot. It's exhausting. Then from there, you have to get legal involved and they check them out. And then you end up, having them looked at. So we went through that with many, many different women. And my doctor was so particular and sensitive about who he chose as a surrogate because I didn't have many. So we'd get so close. And if they had one little thing wrong with them, he was like, oh my God, I can't do this.
Don't risk it.
In 2021, we found a lovely, lovely woman. We loved her so much. We adored her family, huge hockey fans. They were just perfect. They were absolutely adorable. They were right up the road. It was perfect. We went into this we didn't really know the risk of it all. And we thought it was going to be so easy to do. And we ended up putting 2 embryos in and we lost them both. And that was so hard. And that was actually a podcast we did. And we didn't say what it was. And I was just sobbing. I think you were in Lake Tahoe when I called you. Lake Arrowhead, sorry. Lake Arrowhead.
The text because we knew like you had, these embryo, like the transfer had happened and we're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for the news. And then I'll like never forget that text that I got from you where you're like, neither of them worked. And I just, my heart, like, I'll like cry thinking about it because, these are, it's their goal. Like these, like when you only have a few and then just like my heart like broke for you in that moment.
And we, like I said, we went into it so blind. We kind of just thought, well, let's get it over with. Let's have twins. Like it'll be like really quick and then we'll be done. Or if one doesn't take, we'll have the other. And we kind of just thought that's how it went. And so that was a really hard go for me. Jarrett was so good because he kind of like mourned and grieved right away. I remember he went upstairs and just laid in our bed with our dog and just bawled his brains out. And I just kept thinking, okay, we have to get past this. We have to because that's just how I am. That's how I am with like everything. Let's just, let's talk about the Jets on Hard Knocks. What's going on? I just don't want to get deeper. And I got really fucked up. I don't know if you remember, I was just not right. I remember Constance saying something to me. Yeah, I just couldn't communicate my feelings about it. I think I was scared to move forward. What does this mean if we just lost these 2? We don't have much left. What if we don't have success? We're going to have to find a different person. This is all like crazy. And I ended up having to get some help because it was actually, I know I've told you this, having a hard time like forming sentences. I just was like missing words more so than usual, I'm good for that. But it made me kind of deal with a lot. It was hard. It was really hard. But I think the biggest thing it made me do was start talking to you guys about it all more.
Because you're a tough
that was
cookie.
A good thing.
Like you let us, and us is the proverbial, your friend group, your family, like we know when and when you don't want to open up about stuff. And it's like it's hard because you don't want to press someone, but when you love someone so much and you care about them and you just want to do anything that you can for them. So that's even more of a reason why with your baby boy being, have you said his name yet, by the way, on here?
Mac Attack Macaroni, the Big Mac.
So tell everyone his full name.
It's Mac Roger for my grandpa who loves sports so much. Stoll.
So now all the more reason why Mac being here. And again, and we'll get into that other stuff of like, the Megan Mitchell story of like they choose you and like everything happens for a reason and
we got a lot of years to talk about that.
Dinner at Poncho's at another night. Yeah, stay around for episode 2 of this story because it's just so special. So as on the side of heartbreak is the side of joy. So now being able to sit here and go back on this journey with you and really like think about how long it's been for you. It's a testament to who you are. And I know I've said this to you, whether it's, at our pseudo baby shower, which I made you have because you reluctantly didn't want to have that. And I respect that because you don't want the attention to ever be on you, but you have worked so hard. And this baby boy is here because you and Jarrett didn't give up. And that would be the message, I think. And I would hope that people like, there's always another option, even if it wasn't your first choice. So
Right.
After all of that happens, then for you, sort of what that next step was and how you kept going, even if it was so hard.
Dealing with myself, talking about it with you guys was a big one for me. I then, like you said, this led us to something even greater. We then found our kind of angel, one of our angels, and her name is Stephanie Levitt. She actually runs Family Match Consulting, and her story is incredible. And she's just an awesome person. I love her so much. And she led us to our surrogate. That wasn't easy though either. We had actually a couple other people that we had interviewed. We got really close with another girl that we thought we were actually going to do it with, the transfer with, and that didn't work out, obviously for all reasons that, were fabulous on the other end, but very hard at the time. And Steph made this whole process just a wonderful experience, how it should be. And she led us to our girl and our family. And I'm trying to think, I think it was last summer maybe that we met her. I think it was maybe like May or June that we met her. And we met her and we did a Zoom with them and we thought that they were lovely. But it's kind of like this is like your 6th or 7th interview with a surrogate. You're like, all right, let me cry and tell you my story again. Hello, how are you? Yeah. But they were great. We met them a few times for lunch and everything. And then when she checked out medically and everything was good, I was telling this story the other day. Obviously, I'm a person that can block my feelings, my emotions, hide behind sports. Not the healthiest thing to do, but I was working a 49ers game I think it was probably like October, maybe the end of September, right before the transfer. And I just blocked it all out, and then got on the plane to go take off back to LA. And I knew, oh, no, that wasn't even the transfer. The transfer, that was to find out if she was pregnant. So on this Sunday, I'm flying home and I just was looking out the window and I just started bawling because I'm like, shit, this is happening tomorrow.
We were texting.
I think I was like, I'm having a panic attack.
And I was like, and then I was also grateful that you were only on a 45-minute flight because I was like, I need you on the ground. I need you because I don't need you cross country. And then you checking out on me. And all of a sudden I'm like, I can't get to you. So let's make this 45 minutes and get home and get in your bed.
The flight attendant was like, would you like anything to drink before we take off? Yes, I'll have 3 drinks. Thank you. I'll have red, white, and blue. I don't care.
Yeah, but it's really happening. And so that's where like emotionally you were at there. And then.
Yeah. And then the next day, it was a crazy day. Well, first of all, leading up to that, after the transfer, it takes about 10 to 12 days to figure out if they're pregnant. So my girlfriend, Charissa Thompson, and Kelly Stafford, girlfriends, drop off this huge care package to my house. It was basically the 12 days of waiting to see if you're pregnant. And each day had a note.
She needs a distraction.
Yeah. Each day had a note and a different gift. There were Disney magazines, there were cuddly socks, there were jammies that I wear all the time now, my Kate Spade jammies. There were bathrobes, there were lip glosses, there were like Charlotte Tilbury, like stuff. It was just so sweet. And so of course, I had it back here, like during the podcast when we were filming, and I was like, oh God, people are going to see this. Every day, Jarrett would come down and be like, so what is day 3 like? What's day 4 like? What do you got inside? So you guys
leave
were
it to
amazing.
Jarrett. He's so cute. But no, we just wanted, we because I remember Kelly texting me and she was like, we have to distract her. And Kelly's been very, very open about her struggles,
about her IVF journey.
Exactly. And that is, I think, the thing, and hopefully to anyone that's listening, like the support system, and whether that's your immediate girlfriends or whether that's strangers that you don't even know, is that unfortunately and fortunately, this community is really, really big. And if you lean on them,
those waiting rooms are packed.
If you let your friends or even strangers like support you, then you don't feel like you're so isolated. And I don't know. I mean, I haven't went on this journey that you have. You can only hope to like support somebody in that and be like, okay, we're here for you. So it was the 12 days of distraction and the 12 days of Christmas.
It was so good.
Thank you, baby Jesus, culminated in Mac Roger Stoll, because oh my gosh. So then we get through because we're all in this together.
You guys are all in it. The Staffords, the Thompson Condaries, like the Stoll Andrews. Yeah. Like we're in it. My girlfriend, Jackie, Heather, Megan, my other Megan. Yeah. Like everybody's in it. They know we're supposed to find out if she's pregnant or if she's not. and that Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And so usually when you find out, like last time we found out it didn't work, it was about like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I had said to you guys, like you guys were being so sweet. And a lot of times friends don't know how to react. Like they don't know what to do. They don't want to get in your way, but you guys wanted to be helpful if it didn't work. And I get that. So Kelly, tell the story. Kelly had the idea. We're just going to plan a dinner regardless. We're going to plan a dinner because this is what happened when Matthew won the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
we're
ahead.
planning a dinner. We're meeting at such and such restaurant at Dan Tana's. What? Who cares what I'm saying? At Dan Tana's at, let's say, whatever time it was. We were going to meet at 7:00, and so then you're supposed to find out. I think like around 4, right? Was that 4 or 5?
I thought.
Yeah, and then tell everybody what happened.
Well, what are you and Kelly doing that whole time? You guys are just texting, right? Like, have you heard? Have you heard? Like,
of course, your update. Do I have Wi-Fi? Again, Wi-Fi, is the signal strong? I remember Steve and I were waiting at South Beverly Grill, and they like only let serve 3 drinks, and I was like, I'm gonna need another drink. They're like, you're already at your max, psychopath. Like, you got to go to another restaurant. Because I was like, oh, we're waiting, and then like as time keeps going by, and I was like, oh no, because now you're like, oh fuck, like. This might not be good if enough times like keeps going by. So
I know
we were just waiting for you to tell us great news. But then we got the text that said,
so I was laying on the couch and it's like finally 5:00 and I'm just like, I'm literally, my heart is just coming out of my chest. I'm like, this is crazy. This is like torture to put people through. Jarrett's stomach's killing him. He's running up and down. And so the stairs, it was. So finally I called the fertility clinic and I was just like, I don't want to press 3 for help. I don't want to press 4 for English. Like, just get me an operator. I don't want to hear this music. Just let me know what's going on. So my sweet, sweet nurse, who I love so much, was like, I am so, so sorry. The test results are not going to be in today. You're not going to find out until tomorrow. And I'm like, they can't do this to me. They cannot do this to me. And instantly I went into, let's call Neil Elitrosh with the Rams. Let's call somebody from the Chargers. Like, who do we know to break into the lab? Like, I literally thought, who from the, I'm going to call Sean McVay right now. I'm going to call Sean McVay and ask for help. Like, I need help to get into this lab. And she just said, I'm so sorry. There's nothing we can do. And I texted you guys and you were just like,
then our reaction was, how can we break it? We're going to get arrested for breaking into this lab and we don't care. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Jarrett was like, get your clothes on. Let's go. Let's go meet them. Like, let's go meet them and let's just go have a time, because sitting here, we're going to drive each other nuts. I'm going to, cause some sort of pain or whatever, like, to my heart. So I was like, all right, fine. So we got an Uber. We went up to Hollywood and we had a night.
Oh my God, we had a time.
Matthew had a game that weekend, but he was such a trooper because he was like, you know what? It's your night, Erin.
I know, like the team player and the quarterback that he is. He's like, you know what? We're going to win together and we'll lose together. And in this particular case, Steve, my boyfriend, had been carrying around this little dish with an egg, like a raw egg, for how long? Like at that point, like a month
since
or
the
something?
transfer. Yeah.
So since the transfer, he had been carrying around this egg and continued to carry it around until we found out that it worked, and then kept it in our refrigerator until we met Mac. Because he's like, because we wanted to make sure through the entire pregnancy, like it was like I have so many pictures of Steve in random places, like, the flat family things of like, you take the picture of like the random cutout, like we're in Asia, we're in the Eiffel Tower. There's 700 photos in my phone with Steve with the egg just randomly around. But yeah, so he brought the egg that night and it was excellent. We were wild and
and at one point I got way too whatever with my hands and broke the egg, and you guys realized I broke it.
There was just a minor crack. There was a minor crack, but I was like, okay, that's okay. That's okay. This doesn't mean anything. We're still good. But yeah, we tried to get you through that night. And then I had to leave on an early flight the next day.
Where were you going?
To go wherever I was going. I don't know, somewhere. I'd go somewhere. So then I was like, oh shit. Like when we find out this news, if I want to, like, I better have Wi-Fi on this plane. Like, okay. So then the next day happened and I have to connect through somewhere. And I remember being like, oh my God, I don't want to, because I don't also want to annoy you. I'm like, I need, like, what's happening? What's happening? But then I finally, like, my phone starts ringing and it's FaceTime with you and Kelly, and my plane's about to take off. And you tell me on the plane that it
That it
worked. And
worked.
I start crying like hysterically. And
Crying.
I have this coat over my head, and it's like, because I'm trying to like muffle. We're about to take off,
Because
and
it
it's like
closed the door on the plane. Yeah.
close the door. And so then you tell me it worked, and I spill my coffee all over. It goes down my leg, down the woman next to me. And they at this point, they think I'm just hammered. I'm about to get escorted off the plane because they think I've had way too many, which has happened at the bar. But in this case, I was like hysterically crying, like tears of joy. And it was just, we have like stupid pictures of the FaceTime screenshots from that day. But like,
Oh my
how,
God.
like that feeling for you,
And
I can't
remember,
imagine.
hold on, remember the flight attendant going, ma'am, you need to turn off your phone. And you put a blanket over you. You're like Kristen Wiig in Bridesmaids. You're like, I'm sorry,
Totally.
my friend is pregnant. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. And you're crying. Like you are so lucky they didn't kick you off that plane. Like
I was
you
one step away
sounded
from help me,
crazy.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I
Help
did.
me.
I looked like a lunatic,
Stove.
but I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was like, actually, kick me off this plane. I dare you to, because I'd love to finish this conversation.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
gosh, it was so exciting. So then for you, so this journey, and it culminates in like the news that you've been waiting, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
9 years, your whole life to hear, and like you and Jarrett having that moment. And then for you, like how did the pregnancy for your surrogate, did it feel like it went by fast, or like, because how is that process for you, and how did it feel sort of being like, you know, just letting this, and of course
Yeah.
she's a member of your family now, but like, you know, somebody carry your baby, and
Mm-hmm.
that's sort of all the psychological stuff that goes with that, and thinking about it daily.
I feel like now looking back at it, it does seem like it went by fast. I mean, we were in the middle of a football season. The first time we went to go hear his heartbeat, I had conference calls and Zooms with the Packers and the Cowboys because they were playing that Sunday in America's Game of the Week. So I remember we went to go listen to his heartbeat and see it. And then I had to race out of there. And Jared's like, let's go celebrate. And I'm like, I have to get in the car. Zach Martin is calling me. I've got to do an
Right.
interview with Zach
Right.
Martin as my husband's at the bar, you know, having 2 Sauvignon Blancs, celebrating, hearing our kid's heartbeat. And then I'm like, hey, we got to make this quick because we have Aaron Rodgers at 3:00. He's like, can we toast our kid? Like, really? So, you know, it's like, I was like trying to cram in a football season and then deal with, you know, this, you know, pregnancy. But it did seem fast, I think, looking back at it now. She was is everything that we and anyone could ever want as surrogate. So she's amazing. She's everything I'm not in terms of being calm,
stop it.
so chill. She knew she had done surrogacy before. She's a mom. She just kind of really led us through it, held our hand, which was incredible. Also a sports fan. Here's a fun one. When I had my playoff games, she would turn the TV up so he could hear my voice.
No.
They did the same thing for Jarrett when Jarrett was on TV so he could hear Jarrett. So yeah, they just got it. And they really just guided us through this whole thing. It was awesome.
That is so special, because first, and we've talked about this, there are not enough words to describe the
The
selflessness
angels.
of a surrogate.
Yes. Yes.
Like I don't even, and I would love, I mean, I know that there, of course, there's the anonymity, and rightfully so, whatever, but like, I just want to do like a whole like conversation with like how and why and all the things. And obviously, you know,
Let's talk to
various
Steph
reasons.
on the podcast one time. Let's bring her in.
Yeah, we definitely should. But like, wow, what an incredible person to do that. I mean, that is like the ultimate act. So that's so thoughtful. Like, oh, you know, because again, we hear all the time, like babies in the womb can like hear music. And so for her to turn up your voice, that's so sweet.
I
It's
know.
so sweet.
She's the best. She was the best. And like, you know, just to fast forward to delivery and all that stuff, that's where, you know, we had a great relationship with them. We'd go meet them. We'd text them. We were on a family text chain with them, everything like that. But it wasn't until the delivery that it was like, wow. I mean, it just, the relationship just moved to a whole different place. And we had a little bit of like kind of an emergency in the delivery room, nothing major. She just dilated really, really fast. He dropped. They wanted to, you know, kind of get his heartbeat like back, chill. Like they didn't lose his heartbeat, but they wanted to get him ready for delivery. And that's stressful for the baby when they're going through the birth canal, all the things. We talked about it countless number of times. Am I going to be in there? Am I going to watch? What am I going to do? I don't know.
Yeah.
We have a good friend that just went through surrogacy. He and his wife were so lovely to me to tell me what they did. And that really helped a lot. But once again, my surrogate, she guided us through this with her husband as well. And we kind of walked in and they were working on getting the baby calmed down before delivery. They also wanted to get her doctor in there in time because the doctor had left. Nobody thought she was going to give birth that quickly. And she, everybody's kind of yelling and I'm up against the wall and I'm like, oh God, what's happening? And I said to Jared, should we be here? Should we be here? Should we be here? And he's like, we're fine. We're fine. But I had my head facing the wall because I didn't want to be in the way of the doctors and the nurses, and a lot was happening. They were trying to stabilize a lot of things. And Jarrett was seeing a lot of stuff. So then all of a sudden a nurse grabbed me and said, she wants to hold your hand. She wants to hold your hand. And I was like, I don't want to get in the way. And she's like, go be with her. So they grab me. I walk around.
Why am I getting emotional?
And I just grab her hair.
It's
the most unbelievable thing. And then I'm like, Jared, come be with me. She grabs my hand, Charissa. And this woman, like she's giving birth. I look at her. She's got one
baby.
tear just coming down her eye. One tear. She was like just an angel, a machine, just crushing. And at that moment, Jarrett and I turned into like the biggest sports fan. And we're like, come on, you can do it. Like, you got this, girl. And I think I've showed you this picture. I think Jarrett has. And this is where I'm so proud of my husband. And I'm just like really following his lead in this, is that we have this picture and he can't wait to show everybody. It's the perfect picture of what surrogacy should be. I am I'm kissing my girl on the head, and Jarrett is just holding the nurse as she's like cleaning up Mac. And he's like, he looks like he won another cup. And it's like, that is the perfect picture of surrogacy. Mm-hmm. And he just like, they gave us Mac and we was like, oh my gosh, okay. And it was just so crazy. But then Jarrett could not wait to give him to our girl, to just be like, look what you did.
That says everything about who you guys are. That says everything about who you are.
If you have a fantastic experience, that's what you feel like. That's what you feel like, because you're just like, you knew that, this person's giving you birth, but this person is giving birth to your kid. Like, and they are like rock stars doing it. Jarrett couldn't wait. And he has this picture, like he shows it to everyone. I know he probably showed it to you and Steve, but like, he's like, look at this picture. This is the first time she saw him. Like, it's so sweet. And then we had a moment when we said goodbye to her in the hospital the next day, and she came in to say goodbye and all her family was with her. And that was really emotional. And like, she said bye to Mac, and Jarrett closed the door and he walked back into the hospital room and he was just crying. And I was like, what's happening? And he goes, that's it. Like, it's just, she did so much and that's it. I'm like, that's not it. She's a part of our family forever. That's not it. But it was really cool.
So
that whole thing is like another level.
I remember you just said that, you know who you're talking about, who helped you sort of from that outside perspective of what to expect. So if you could give anybody advice, I know it's so fresh because Baby Bear is like brand new. What advice do you have for mothers that are on the other side of, waiting for their surrogate, or just sort of like, what kind of wisdom can you now bestow upon someone that might be listening, that's like hasn't had their baby yet, or is thinking about this, sort of your big takeaways on, the chapters of surrogacy and sort of what you've learned throughout this like incredible process?
It's a lot. It's so much to kind of take in mentally. And I would recommend being with a great group that, like our family match consulting, our woman, Stephanie, who matched us with the surrogacy. No text was too late or too early in the morning. No text was stupid. No question was ever, dumb or I know that's redundant, but she literally held our hand through it. She also got to know us. So she knew who to place us with, who to match us with. And that was really helpful, especially when, you even get like what you're packing when you're going to the hospital. Like, I don't know what I'm bringing, like all those things. Right. So I would say that was the number one thing for us. Family Match Consulting. This is not an ad. I can't hype her up enough. You need someone that you really trust, because it is a whole new territory we had never been a part of before. You have a ton of questions. You have people in your life asking you questions. So you want to get those answered. And that was big. And another thing, Stephanie really guided us on is the financial burden of this whole thing is incredible. It costs a lot of money to do this. And it really got me to thinking, and I know I talked to you a lot about it, is that it is, for me, I did this because I was not able to carry a baby. That was just not our option. It wasn't a luxury thing. It's not because I didn't want to be pregnant on the sidelines. I would have loved to have been pregnant on the sidelines. I think the guys would have gotten a kick out of it. I would have loved to have.
I'll tell you one of those guys, and I'm going to remind you because I'll tell you after, but okay.
Who?
So I told Travis Kelsey when I saw him at the charity event that, these, and I hope you don't care, but he's sending me a little
like
something.
I could care.
I know, but like I told him because he's sending me something.
It better be a badass like baby Louis Vuitton like thing. Come on, Trav.
But he's the
best.
So excited. It was the same reaction that Terry Bradshaw gave when you showed Terry the ultrasound picture when we were in Las Vegas, and the guy's face, and that's why I'm so excited, like for so many reasons. But yeah, so Trav was like, oh my God, that's like just so excited for you because you are the sister to so many of these guys, and like they're the big brothers, and now like Mac has so many big brothers, so it's really really special.
I think that's the part that's tearing me up because I've talked about all this stuff, but like I haven't talked to the boys yet, and like Brian Dable texted me the other day and he read it and he's like, I'm so happy. And it was just like, those boys know, like, right? Yeah. Really
You're
cool.
the journey and the hours, and you have spent so much of your life not being able to start your own family or starting it later in your life because your life has been your professional career. Yeah, but that has been your family, right? And I feel the same way. I sit here and I don't have kids, and like so much
that's our family.
That's our family. Exactly. So it's just like becomes this extended group that just is so excited for you. And I know that what you want is other people to be able to have the same opportunity that, you have had. And you just mentioned that there is a huge financial burden. So I think it's really special. You spoke about it on, the Today Show and the platform there. And I know that it's really important for you to be vocal about this process. So what do you want people to know that maybe didn't get a chance to hear what you said earlier on?
No, we're going to wrap up this never ending podcast after this. I do want to talk about this one point quickly. And I have two funny athlete stories about this whole thing. I do want to talk about the financial burden. That's one thing I learned a lot through this whole thing is that, a lot of people do this, yes, for a luxury purpose, but a lot of them do it because it's their only way that they're going to have a baby. And every time we would talk to Stephanie or write a check, I just thought, oh my God, think of people in the LGBTQ community. Think that this is their way to have a baby for, men, a lot of, obviously. And then think about people who went through cancer like I did, spent all their money on these medical bills. And now if they want to have a kid and this is the only way to do it, they've got to pay for IVF and surrogacy. Just a lot of it. I think we need to rethink the way we talk about it, the way, we need to make it comfortable in conversations. And then I feel like it's going to be easier for people to accept, easier for people to realize people need financial help for this. So Stephanie, who I've talked about a lot, I noticed that she would align herself with this group called Baby Quest Foundation. And she actually helped a woman go through surrogacy and she helped get it financed. And Baby Quest Foundation, I want to say it right, they actually are on a mission to make parenthood happen for those who cannot afford the high costs of IVF, surrogacy, egg and sperm donation, egg freezing, embryo donation. They're focused on helping couples or singles in this journey, especially those who are cancer survivors, military personnel, regardless of gender and sexuality. They've given out 20 grants to help people get their babies. And this is just something that I hate, being the advocate for everything, but this is one I'm really, really, really excited about, aligning myself with. I feel like we have a purpose. I feel like we have a voice for all this. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. So more to come on all of that.
I think that's so special because it's not something that you should should feel like, oh, I can't do it because of a financial reason. So knowing that there's options, I think that's really special to pay it forward because that is the ultimate thing, is that you have the ultimate gift now. And you've had a lot of people that have helped you along the way, but that also,
and we want to help others.
I know you're quick to deflect attention, but it also starts with you and Jarrett, and that that athlete mindset that you guys both have, like you don't give up and you didn't give up and now you have a baby boy. So I have to ask the question of like, what has been the best part about being a mother, albeit your short tenure? What has been like the greatest thing? Like what has surprised you the most, good and bad? Like changing diapers, or like give me the good, the biggest surprise, good and bad.
Just kind of studying his face, watching my husband with him. Jared is always like, I'm your dad.
With, like,
really hot.
A baby?
Yeah, I'm your
Right?
dad. I'm your dad. And then because we're both super competitive, not so much with each other, but just in life, it's like, I'll change the diaper. I want to try this because we both want to nail it. Yeah, to be better than each other.
I can attest to this. I'm sitting on your couch because I was like, I need to see him immediately. Like the second I got over there, he needed his diaper change, and you guys were like, so it's really sweet to watch you guys as a team. Where it's like, oh no, you can go, babe, you do it. Like it's just really special to see your relationship now with Jared in a completely different way, and seeing you hold a baby is my magic. I'm so happy for you, Erin.
Let's switch gears here a little bit and feature one of our favorite guests. This may or may not have been one of my favorite podcasts we've done so far with Greg Olsen. This interview was so much fun. My face hurt so much from laughing the whole time. He tells us he refuses to accept anything from flight attendants, no matter how long the flight is, which is crazy. No water, no snacks, no nothing. What's that about?
He also explained to us what a whisper fight is and has a great impersonation of EA. He's an absolute time. Here's part of our interview with 3-time Pro Bowler, NFL on Fox analyst Greg Olsen.
There was an article out last week, Greg. We go for the hard-hitting news about wearing socks to bed. I think I talked to you a little bit about this. Just, are you a person that wears used socks to bed? Because apparently it's as worse as sleeping inside of a toilet. It's as bad as sleeping in a toilet. There's cockroach feces on it. There's all the disgusting dirt. And then people are actually putting that in your bed. Thoughts on wearing socks to bed, yes or no?
100,000% no.
Did you do it? You're a very sweaty person, so you probably can't have
I'm showering. My daily activity, whatever I wear throughout the course of any part of my day, there is going to be a buffer, which is a shower prior to me getting underneath the covers. There is no go in raw dog with what I'm wearing all day and getting into bed. That's not happening. There's a shower, there's a fresh pair of pants, fresh pair of shorts, whatever it is, before I pull those sheets down and get under the covers. There's nothing on my body that was worn for 1 minute during the day when I get in bed.
Okay, except for when you came on the road with that outfit that you wore for 2 straight days.
No, I'll wear it during the day. I just won't get in bed with it. So full disclosure on that story, because I know that made the Calm Down podcast weeks ago. I have so here's what I pack, and my wonderful wife, she's the one who actually packs this for me. So I'm like that guy who doesn't pack his own shit. When I open my suit the morning of the game, I have no idea what it looks like. I don't have a clue what anything in my bag is.
Matt Castle.
So I wear
Matt,
Lauren,
tough look, man.
And don't blame it
your
on
wife.
Lauren.
She's busy dealing with the 12 kids. Come on, Matt. Be better. Okay. Next.
So anyway.
Bump set spike,
Lauren. We'll save that for episode 66.
Amazing.
Perfect.
So I show up in a casual outfit when I fly in, and then I bring an outfit for dinner, and then I typically fly home. If I have a chance to change after the game, I'll just put on what I flew home in. So I only bring the outfit I wear, and then I have to pack an outfit for dinner and a suit. And then all my toiletry shit. It's that's all I bring. I'm a minimalist. I don't bring any extra shoes. I wear 1 pair of shoes. I wear them the whole weekend. I'm a minimalist. That night, we went to dinner, and it was in the hotel, and everyone was kind of casual. So I was like, I don't need to put on jeans or long pants and a collared shirt. And I was like, I'm just going to wear what I have on. The problem is that was only intended to fly in. Then I was supposed to see everybody for dinner in a different outfit and then fly home in that outfit from the day before and not see anyone. So my issue was
it got interrupted.
It was a night game. So we had like a morning production meeting. So I showed up, said hi to everyone, came to dinner, same outfit. That's my next day casual outfit. I'm just not supposed to wear it to dinner. So I literally saw them at 4 p.m. and until like noon the next day, every time anyone saw me, I was in the exact same outfit.
Amazing.
Hey, you know what?
And I had toothpaste on my pants. That was the moral
It was great.
story.
Sure you did.
So it wasn't great. So that's that story. That's why I had on the same clothes. But long story short, no, I'm not getting in bed with anything that I wear throughout the course of the day. Starting fresh, shower, clean clothes, bed, start the next morning.
Perfect.
Okay, so to give you a little context again on all these are just questions that like Erin and I go through, but we love a guy's perspective. So I won't even ask you the underwear inside out because we don't even need that for this one. No. Okay, judging strangers and knowing their backstory without talking to them. So Erin and I have this thing, you know Erin very well now, as having spent the last year and a half with her on the road. I will sit down at a restaurant. I will see a couple or friends or a group of people. I have like the diagnostic is crazy. I'm like, I've given them jobs. I've given them names.
You know the backstory.
I know what the drama. Yeah, like I know what they're fighting about. I know that there's like drama in their marriage. Are you good? I feel like you would. I already know the answer to this. Are you good about assessing the situation?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. I know if it's their first date, their last date. If they've been going together for a long time, shit's good at home, shit's not good at home. Is this a makeup date because the husband forgot her birthday? Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, if you ask me, I've got it nailed. Obviously, I can never confirm any of my preconceived notions, but
we should actually do that. We should all go out. We should diagnose someone in the restaurant and then go up to them and see if what we think is actually happening. It's only fun if we're all together, though.
We think they're on their first date. They've been married for 35 years.
Let's find out. Let's see how good we are at this game. I'm into it.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a good exercise for sure.
Okay, our next one. Charissa had a mishap where she let Steve, her boyfriend, handle the details of a friend's wedding that they went to this past summer. She didn't get all the details. She ended up thinking that she looked like one of the band members that was performing at the wedding. Is it your responsibility to properly inform your wife of the dress code or her responsibility to find out?
That's her responsibility.
Whoa!
Yeah, there's not a lot of, and listen, I'm just speaking from my own perspective in my own marriage. There's zero logistics being done by me.
Yeah. I know that.
I'm not, and Erin knows this. I don't know what hotel we're at. I don't know what time we're leaving for the game.
Me neither.
I don't know
know who's
shit
playing.
About Adam. Yeah, exactly. I find out who the teams are the night before. I'm not a real heavy detail guy. So in my family, in my relationship, my marriage, my wife is, what time we're leaving, what's the expectation of the dress code, who's going to be there, what is the event for, who are we going to see, what time we're leaving, how are we getting there, who has the tickets. I'm doing nothing.
Okay,
Zero.
And Greg, I'm exactly the same way. Erin will text me and be like, what hotel are you at this week? Or like, whatever. I don't know. I'm on my way. I'm literally in the car from the airport. I don't know.
I'm at wherever
the driver takes me.
Yeah, 100%. Wherever the driver stops up front, that hotel sounds great.
And the best is when they give you the address, they're like, all right, we're going to 123 Orange Avenue. I'm like, great. Yeah, if that's where you're taking me, that sounds great.
The driver could be taking me to an abandoned warehouse in the middle of
kill you.
Detroit to murder me. And I'm like, that sounds great. I'm looking forward to it. How far are we?
And I brought one pair of shoes and one sweatshirt.
And I have one outfit, so you better not change the venue on me.
Well, the backstory though is it was Steve's friend like that was getting married. Like these were new friends to me. It's his side of the aisle that was getting married. And so I'm like, hey, what are we wearing? He's like, oh, something casual. It's a Western themed wedding. I walked downstairs looking like fucking Montgomery Gentry's backup singer.
You look
like Beth. You look like Beth from Yellowstone.
I did. I thought is this Halloween? trick or treat, and everyone else is in full length like gowns, like it was a formal wedding. And I was like, I literally had Greg, I had a hat on like you have on right now, and I looked at Kelly Stafford and I go, do you think it'll help if I take the hat off? She goes, yeah, take the hat off. And I'm like, well, I can't because the extensions haven't been washed in 4 days. So I said, fuck it, I'm just leaving this outfit on. At one point, I thought they were going to look at me for the entertainment halfway through the wedding to see whose bed had these boots been under. Fuck.
That's
I look
incredible.
Like asshole. Okay. Next.
Wait, Greg, did you have a story?
That's so good.
I thought you had something.
It doesn't involve me, but every time I think about showing up to a wedding ill prepared, I have a buddy through my older brother, that had a buddy that went to a wedding in India.
Okay. I think okay.
And he's like a white guy. Like he's a white guy from, and he showed up to a wedding in India. So he's like, I want to be respectful of their traditions.
Yeah.
So he goes out and he buys traditional Indian formal apparel.
Oh, no.
He shows up to a wedding in India. The only fucking person dressed in traditional Indian garb. Every other male there is in like a suit. He goes, I walk in and I'm the only white guy in the whole fucking place. I'm dressed like I'm in a fucking movie. And all these people are looking at me like this stupid American is like mocking our culture.
Yeah.
And he's like, little did I know, I'm trying to be respectful. So every time I think about people ill prepared for weddings, I think of that story and it makes me die.
Yeah. So there wasn't an issue of disrespecting culture. It was disrespecting theme in this particular case. We went formal and I went Western wear. It was in Montana. And so it was like, hey, Western, but that apparently was the night before. And the actual wedding was black tie. So standing next to Troy Aikman in a fucking tux, I'm like, hey, want my autograph? I'm a Shania Twain impersonator. God. So, and this is what makes it worse. Steve doubles down as he's in a tux. And he goes, which should have been my first clue. As he's putting the tux on, I'm like, hey, where's your bolo tie? Like, I thought this was a Western thing.
Well, that was going to be my question. Like, at what point was it just the women were going to go Western and like the men were going to go traditional?
Disaster.
Like, she's you. Yeah, she's not good with those details at all.
Yeah, you know what, Greg? We show up and we're the entertainment, apparently.
Listen, my role in the entire event is once I get there.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, on a flight, do you chat with your seat neighbor or sit in silence and keep to yourself? What is your etiquette on flights?
I'm overly nice when I sit down, like because I'm a window guy. So
I feel like you have a lot
seat.
happening when you sit down too. Like there's a lot happening.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot happening. Fuck, you're sweating. You got shit everywhere. You're calling Karen the kids to say goodbye. I feel like there's a lot.
So I'm a window. I love sitting on the window because I don't want to have to sit in the aisle. Because A, my leg gets bumped, and B, I don't want to get up if the person in the other seat has to go to the bathroom.
My leg gets bumped.
But I'm always late getting on the plane, so I'm always the second person in my little 2-seat, little pairing to get in their seat. So the person has to get up and let me in and whatnot. I always say hello. I always, I hope you're having a good day, blah, 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 blah. I get that all out of the way. And then it's like headphones on, head against the window. I'm done. And if I'm not falling asleep, I'm pretending I'm asleep. I don't drink. I don't eat. I don't accept anything from the flight attendants. I'm in the corner. I'll hold my pee for 12 hours. I'm not getting up to go to the bathroom. I'm not getting a drink. I'm not getting food. I'm sitting in my corner. And when the wheels hit the ground, I reappear to the rest of the world.
Why don't you have water?
I get my own like bottled water. Like I'll get a snack at like the news place, and I'll get like I'll get a snack and an M&M and a bottled water. But I like never accept anything from the flight attendant. I don't know why. It could be a 12-hour flight or a 45-minute flight. Once I sit down, I'm on my own deal. I don't.
Are you afraid of food poisoning? What's going on? What do you mean you don't accept?
No.
Like what's happening?
I don't know. I don't really even have a real reason behind it. It's just the way I am. I just shake off. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. It's like he gives me a curveball and I want to throw a fastball.
Where's Greg Maddox? I like to go slower. All right. Dogs at restaurants. Okay or not?
This is a tough one.
Why?
I'm married to a dog love her. I have 2 dogs. I have 2 German Shepherds that are awesome. They're very well trained. They listen for the most part. My older dog really is good. So I have a skewed reality of like what an obedient dog is. So if you're going to bring your obedient dog and it's going to lay under the table and not interfere with anyone, great. And we're sitting, I'm all for it. The problem is nobody trains their dogs. Everyone thinks their dogs are like their kids and like they're obligated and entitled to just like free roam of the restaurant, and that everyone wants to see their dog. Like, I don't want to step over your dog to go to the bathroom. So if you're going to bring your dog, fine, but that thing should lay underneath your feet. It should not be in any of the territory of the aisles. The waiters should not be stepping over it. The waitresses should not be like kicking your dog as they serve me my food. And if you can do that, then bring your dog. More power to you. But if your dog's going to be like a social butterfly and just have its way around the restaurant, then I'm not interested.
Can you please tell your dog in the Luke Kuechly story? Please tell Charissa that story, or do you not want to?
No, I would love to. So
my God,
I have a German Shepherd. I have a German Shepherd. So it's COVID. So it's 2020. It's COVID spring. I'm training to get ready to go to Seattle. And Luke has since retired, and he's training with me because the world has come to a stop. So I had like a small gym above my garage, and we would work out in the morning. So it's early in the morning. I don't know. It's 8 a.m., 9 a.m., whatever it is. And only my youngest son is awake. So at the time he's 7, 8. He's young, and he's sitting at the kitchen table, and he's like having cereal. And I'm upstairs in the gym, and Luke lets himself in the side door. And he sees TJ through the window sitting by himself at the like little kitchen island having breakfast. But he doesn't see my ginormous 80-pound German Shepherd sitting next to him on the ground. So Luke lets himself in quietly. I'm upstairs, and he's like, I'm going to scare TJ. So he comes around the corner real quiet, and he's like, and he like makes a big like startling noise to try to scare TJ. Well, my dog, whose name is Tucker, my older male, he jumps into action, and he stands up. And now he's big now. He's like, so I hear Tucker go crazy. So I come running down the stairs from upstairs in the gym, and he has Luke pinned up against the wall.
Luke Kuechly.
Who, those of you that don't know who Luke Kuechly is not small.
No.
Not small. All-pro Hall of Fame linebacker. And he has Luke pinned up against my kitchen wall.
Holy
and he
shit.
is just whoa, 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 whoa. And
what's
TJ
Luke doing?
Is dying. He's up against the wall, like pinned, like frozen. And I come down and I give him like the friend command that tells him to just like let his guard down and go back to his little bed. And to this day, when Luke comes over our house, he's like, "Where's Tucker? Come here, Tucker." And like Tucker has to come over and like he'll give him a little pet. But like he has been startled. It's like a running joke every time I see Luke. I'm like, "Hey, don't worry. Tucker's not here. He's not going to pin you against the wall."
Oh my God. That
So
takes a
good.
lot to scare that guy. That's great. We had so much good stuff this year that we decided to break this up into 2 parts for you guys. All right, here we go. Part 2, we will pick back up with Greg Olsen and round out the new year with wisdom from one of our favorites, Dan Patrick.
Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.